Hello and welcome, everyone. Some stuff around here. All right, let's get right to it. I'm Tariq with Event Hawk, and today we're going to be talking about how to get cash to grow your inventory. Let me move my pretty face over here. How to get cash, 3 ways to get cash so that you guys can grow your inventory, how to get capital. And real quick, sorry if you guys see all this stuff here. It's actually great news for me. Since the season's over, my wife has finally agreed to help me with Event Hawk. So she moved her office there. It looks a little cranky over there. A lot of stuff going on, but I'm over here so you don't have to look at that. But all right, let's get started. So see Vanessa Caldwell's here. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see me. Got a mic, change my mic out. So just want to make sure that that's good, but we'll go ahead and get started. So we're talking about how to grow your inventory without burying yourself in debt. This is a big deal if you are a new, or even if you've had your business. How do you choose between between growing your inventory, buying more stuff, or paying yourself, or getting a warehouse? There's a lot of different expenses, especially this time of year. But we all know that IAPA is coming up. It's the end of the year. That's typically when we get the best sales of the year. So you don't want to miss out on that. So how do you get cash? How do you get capital so that you can grow your inventory? Is we're going to be talking about that. I'm going to tell you guys 3 ways on how to do that. Some things are obvious, some are not so obvious, and jumping right into it. So the first way to get cash so that you can grow your inventory is credit cards. Now, I know right off the bat, you guys are like, are you serious? Credit cards? 0% interest credit cards are literally the way that I got through college. I mean, as of high school, I was on my own. My father pretty much said you can go to the best college you can afford. Take your pick. I didn't leave me with many choices, but I supported myself early on, and credit cards was basically how I paid, my rent, how I got through a lot of stuff. Because no matter how much you work when you're at that young of age, I had my own house and got married early, had a kid. So credit cards helped me out quite a bit because it just helps. But I never believed in interest. So let me just put this out there right off the bat. I am against interest in every way you can think of, religiously, any way. I think interest is really the cause of a lot of people's just demise. Really, you think credit cards are okay, and you just start swiping, and before you know it, you're screwed. But 0% interest credit cards are, again, you have to have decent credit for this. So I know for some of you guys, it's like, this is no go. But I get letters all the time in the mail, 0% interest. They give you 0% interest for 12 months, 15 months, sometimes 18 months or 2 years, where you can purchase stuff. They give you 20 grand sometimes, depending on your credit, and you can buy whatever you want on that credit card, and you have that period to pay it off with no interest. So if you've been throwing away all your junk mail, don't throw away your junk mail for this period of time here while you're trying to get this, or even go to your credit card institution, go to your bank, either online or stop in. And a lot of times they have offers for you because you've been making your payments or whatever, and you don't have to pay any interest. So the way this works for some of you guys who just aren't experienced with this, as long as you pay it off by the end of the period, and as long as you make your minimum payments, then you're good. Now, be warned, sometimes if you don't pay off the full balance by the end of the term, they'll go back and back charge you as if you were, paying interest, or as if it wasn't 0%. So you want to be careful with that. 0% interest cards are great as long as you pay it off by the end of the charge. But if you can't pay it off, this next point, again, was a lifesaver for me as I was growing my business and setting up my life. Balance transfers. So balance transfers are, and I had to figure all this stuff out because there's just no other way. But basically, if you get a 0% interest credit card and you use it and you get 15 months 0% interest, and then the term is about to end. I went through this. I can't tell you how many times. The term is about to end, and if you don't pay it off in a month or 2 months, then they're gonna start charging you interest and probably backdate that interest to when you started your loan. You can do a balance transfer, and credit cards love to do this because they get some money up front. And basically what a balance transfer is when you transfer a balance from a high interest credit card to a low interest credit card, and a lot of times it's another 0% interest credit card. So another bank will say, hey, I know you have your banking with Chase, but this is a Bank of America credit card. You can transfer your balance from the Chase credit card, which has high interest, to this new Bank of America credit card that's 0% interest. And all you got to do is pay us 3.5% or 5%. And it's one time. It's not an interest rate. It's a one-time fee, which is great. So basically, for every $1,000 you transfer, you pay 30 to 50 bucks. Again, that's gotten me through a lot. That's the reason that I have literally every credit card from every bank out there, is because I would take out a credit card, get, max out the balance, pay it off, and then if I couldn't pay it off, I'll transfer the balance, and so on and so forth. That's how I bought my cars. That's how I grew my inventory. And the next one here, if you're buying used equipment, or if you're buying from somebody who only takes cash, some credit cards will also offer you a cash advance. I bought my first decent car like this, where I took a cash advance and I bought a car. These are typically higher interest. I want to use these if you don't have to, because it's cash and you have to pay it back. They do have interest. Sometimes they have no interest. But cash advance is an option. If you're dealing with somebody that only accepts cash, that's kind of questionable to begin with, but it might be used equipment or whatever. But definitely 0% interest, transfer to balances. You'll do very, very well. This is my favorite because guess what? You are not going to find anybody who's going to give you 0% interest. That's that's crazy. Why would they loan you money without expecting anything in return? The banks do it because they're banking on you screwing up, and they get some they get from you swiping, they get a little bit on every swipe or whatever. So definitely this is the number one area. But I guess I know some of you guys, credit is not an option or whatever. So then that's not an option. So we'll talk about this next one here. Capital funding. This one is really, really exciting. And this is one where a lot of people don't know about. You can get funding from PayPal, Square, and Stripe, and a lot of other places. And it's really, really, really low interest, and they make it really easy to pay back. So let me tell you guys a little about this. All you have to do is have a business account with PayPal, Square, Stripe. I used to use them for my party rental company when we, used to rent out bounce houses. I've used PayPal and Square, and just because I used the them for credit card processing, they started emailing me and calling me and all this crazy stuff. And they're like, hey, well, we'll give you a loan. I didn't think anything of it at first, but then when I actually sat and talked to them, the rates are super low. The best part is that they will automatically take the payments out of your PayPal or Square or Stripe funding. So if you use them for credit card processing for your rentals, and then you get $1,000 worth of rentals, they take the payments out of there, and you can increase your payments, you can decrease them. You can say, like when I did a PayPal loan, I got like 20 grand one time. We grew our business, a lot at once. And they said, how many weeks do you want to pay it off? We did the math. I said, I want to pay it off in 6 months. So they broke it up into weekly payments. I didn't even have to remember to pay. They just automatically deducted it. And there was no fee for paying early or paying late. You guys might be thinking, well, fee for paying early. I'm going to tell you about this one next. But yeah, they were super, super, I'm impressed, honestly. After working with banks and financing companies, I've worked with PayPal, and I think PayPal is the only one I've personally worked with as far as capital funding. But it was really, really refreshing how easygoing they are and how easy the process was and how easy it was to pay it back. But I read up on Square and Stripe, and it's just as easy. So if you have credit card processing through your booking software, or you just don't want to use these guys for credit card processing, that's okay. I didn't use them for a while. I believe all you really have to do is have a business account, which is free. So I would recommend you open a business account with all three of these and buy some stuff with it. Just buy some stuff with your business account, or charge something, or take some kind of payment just a couple times here and there. Their system's automatically going to email you, and then boom, you're good. You have, even if you don't plan on using it, you have something to fall back on if something happens and you need capital. So I think it's if you're not going to do credit cards, this is another big one that I think is super, super helpful. And then the last one, which really should be a last resort, this is where you can lease or finance the equipment through the manufacturer or through the company that you're buying from. So the way this works is, let's say you're buying something, you're buying inflatables or tents. I've personally done this through Tent and Table. I bought like $50,000 worth of equipment, and they actually had a really good deal one time at IAAPA. This was a few years ago. I went to IAAPA, might have been 2018. It was crazy. It was too good to be true, I thought. 0% interest on your purchase from Tent and Table. And that's why I bought from them. Whatever deal they were doing, it was a great deal. Could have spent 50 grand with anybody. I spent it with them because they gave me 0% interest. I'm not going to lie. It was a pain to get approved. They had to go through my taxes. They had to go through my business, EIN, Social Security. They had to run a bunch of things, and they almost didn't accept us. But we did do it. I mean, that's rare, though. Usually it's not 0%. You guys have seen this. That's where you go to the website and it says, buy this for $50 a week. And you're like, I can buy a $3,000 inflatable for $50 a week. Well, by the end, you end up paying like double. That's first of all. The interest rates are extremely high. And the worst part for me, and this is why I refuse to ever go through this again, unless it's something crazy like 0% interest. They have, you're thinking, oh, I can pay it early. That's fine. It's a high interest rate, but I'm going to pay this off in 6 months because I'm going to have a really good year. No, you're not. Because if you pay it off early, they have fees that make it as if it's even more expensive than if you paid it off on time. So they penalize you for early payment because they make money off interest. Now, again, for me and you, we're looking at this like that's pretty bad. Why would they do this? They got to make their money somehow too. They're not just giving away 50 grand and you're gonna just walk away paying 0%. They have their ways of doing it. And in fact, I remember talking to the company who we did it with for Tent and Table, and they actually said that it's not really 0% interest. There is an interest rate, but Tent and Table was paying it in hopes that they're going to get more business. So I mean, that was pretty generous of them. But there's always something you just really. Anytime you're working with anything, you need to read, the fine line, the fine print. But especially when you're working with these financial institutions that are not super large, like if you're working with Chase or Bank of America, they usually, they know better than to put some of the big terms, to hide it too well. There, it's usually up front. You still have to read the fine print, but with these financing companies, you really, really got to be careful. I would not recommend this unless you're absolutely desperate. So that's 3 ways to get capital to grow your business and grow your inventory. I'm going to tell you guys the way that we've been doing it, which is my favorite way, and that's saving up. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, it sounds insane, but we did talk about this before. Saving up, and we did an article on this before, how to pay yourself like a boss. By the way, I'm launching a new brand. That's why you guys see my picture everywhere. Super excited. We just got our article published by Fox News. We're expanding to other industries. We're expanding Event Hawk, so I kind of have to put my face everywhere. A little weird, a little different for me. But we're doing it, and got to take better pictures, obviously. But we'll waiting for IAAPA to do that. But essentially, if you guys have read the book Profit First, that's what this video is based on. I'll link it in the comments if you guys are interested. Just let me know. But we started paying ourselves as soon as we get paid. So when our guys get paid, we get paid, and we take a portion of that. I've talked to you guys a lot about how to pay yourself first, but what about savings? So what we do is we take every time we get paid, every time, we put all of our income, from our credit card processing, from renting out inflatables, all of that goes into one account, and we don't spend out of that account. We have an income account and a spending account. That's how we control our spending. And then from that income account, we split it up. We put, let's say, 50% in our operational expenses account, and then, we pay ourselves, let's say, 20%, and then that other 30% we put towards savings. And that savings account is for growing our inventory. It's for the off season, for growing our inventory, it's for making big purchases, buying trucks. So this year, I didn't have to borrow any money. We did downsize our inventory, just because we're not doing as many rentals because we're focusing on Event Hawk. But we do need to switch out some of our old stuff to new stuff, get more water slides, obviously. So I didn't have to borrow any money from anybody because I planned ahead. I already have a nice and juicy fat account that I've been putting into every single Friday. I take, what is that? I think we did like 20% of our income and move it into that account. And now we don't have to borrow money from anybody. We don't have to worry about interest. I can loan myself money. Wish I could loan you guys money, but we're not quite there yet. So that's all I have for today, guys. If you're interested in this article, it's on the Event Hawk website. I will show you guys real quick. We are cleaning up the Event Hawk knowledge base. So if you go to eventhawk360.com, we have a blog there now. I don't know if you guys see this. So if you click blog, that's where we have all of our articles and everything we've talked about. I am trying to clean it up, so I haven't really launched it yet. But like right here, pay yourself like a boss. You click on here, we'll have the YouTube video on that kind of. This was actually a really good one. We have a lot of resources. Everything that I've ever talked about, I'm pretty much putting in here. I'll announce it again once it's ready, but this is where all the articles and YouTube videos. So if you click on this one, you'll see the YouTube video right there about it, and then some. This is the spreadsheet about how we pay ourselves. So I'll show you guys real quick, just to give you a quick recap. But this is pretty much what we do, and this spreadsheet is yours. But this, you can make a copy of this spreadsheet, and basically, if you make $1,000 this week, hope you're making more, but let's just say you made 1,000. You just put your percentages here. This is how much you get paid. This is how much goes into savings, and this is how much goes into operational expenses. So let's say I change this to 20,000. If you make 20,000 this week, then these numbers automatically update, so you know how much to put in each account. We just did this every week, and things went really well. So I share all this stuff with you guys on the Event Hawk blog, soon to be called Event Hawk. knowledge base. You guys will see that once we put that on there. I think I have an employee handbook here, our employee handbook. So there's a lot of cool stuff here that I don't even talk about. We do so much that we don't even share. But that's pretty much it, guys. You guys have been awesome. Hope to see you guys at IAAPA in a couple weeks. Be sure to visit our booth. We're going to be 4773 this time. Super excited. First time exhibiting. I'm sure our legs are going to regret it, but we're super excited to meet you guys all in person, put a face behind all these profile pics, and we'll see you guys there. Everybody have a safe day.